have never looked. Annette would have kept on saying she ran away. She would have never said that she was missing. As a matter of fact, Detective Gardner told me when the grandmother said she missing. I said, no, she lying. She ain't missing. That girl won't be gone for no 3 weeks and ain't contact nobody for no money, not on the social media. But just to see it all put together. And that judge, she saw through all the BS. She saw all the lies and the neglect that we've been trying to tell them was going on. She saw all of it. It's just unfortunate it took for Naziah to be the reason why all this shit came out when we've been telling people for years. This ain't nothing that just happened in February. This been happening for years, and we've been going through it, arguing back and forth with Shannon, arguing back and forth with the different police people we came in contact with, calling CPS, trying to get the kids. So it's a little bit of a release. I can say that a little bit of the weight is off of my shoulders, but we still got a long way to go because I want to know where her body at, and I believe they need to go ask Shannon. Absolutely. Because she know everything that he do. If out of all the women that he been with, she the one who keep up with him the most.
Hey y'all, that was the little first video I shared because that part was jaw-dropping, and it's exactly what I was thinking, that Shannon knows. Like, this is crazy. Everything that you guys are about to hear is just gonna have your head so messed up. Like, this little girl didn't deserve none of this that was done to her. If you didn't want her, you should have sent her to foster care. All these things. My thought with Shannon is she looks slow. She acts slow. When she was on the stand and giving her testimony, they asked her, "Why didn't you call the police?" And she said, "I asked my mom, and my mom said no. She'll call tomorrow." So it's like all of Annette's kids are traumatized. They're brainwashed. All these things because they're grown, and they still look to her for validation, for confirmation, and all these things. But that's going to be in my next video I post, the preliminaries. This right here is just a background on Naziah's life and her family. And her mom and dad is in this portion as well. So y'all stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button.
Extensive details about her mom. But can we please clarify, just a general idea of her mother and the father? We know that the father did pass away last year, but if you guys can share with us just a little bit, just to put that to rest so that people understand what the dynamics are.
I'll speak on her mother because I really didn't have a relationship with her father. Kiwana knows him better than I do. Her mother loved her. She loved her children. She just had, like I said, she grew up with Annette in a household, and she went through the same thing at 13 as Naziah. So, she had a lot on her. And no one ever got her help. So, and she loved her children. She just couldn't fight those demons that were chasing her. When all this stuff was going on with Naziah, we finally caught up with her because people were lying, and specifically Annette and people in the family were saying that she just left. She never left. She said, "I'm staying here until y'all find out what happened to my baby." But she just staying out the way because Annette was trying to say she had something to do with it. Other people were trying to say when actually she was the first person to give the police the information they needed to try to figure out what happened to Naziah.
Oh, wow.
But when we found her just talking to her, she said, "This stuff just keep on falling, this sex stuff. She said, it's just keep on chasing me. It's chasing me. Now it's got my baby."
Oh my God.
So this is really sad. Something I hate to, I'm not trying to cut you off, but it's just a whole lot going on in my head right now because working in early childhood development, and I'm thinking 10, 12-year-old girl. I mean, I have 10 and 12-year-old children in my before and after school program, summer camp, and all of this. So I'm saying to myself, where was the indication at school that something was going on with
There were several indications at school, but the school would call a net instead of going through the proper channels. You tell me this, if a child is on a playground and a car pulls up to a vicinity where the child can talk to them through a fence, and the child is talking to them, and the teacher goes over and say, hey, who are you talking to? And the guy says, I'm her dad. And the child agrees, yes, that's my dad. Do you call the grandmother, or do you make a report as well as calling the grandmother?
No, in that case, no, until I get the child information card and verify who that father is with the identification, he would leave until he's ID'd.
Well, he pulled off once the teacher started questioning him. And then when they talked to Annette, she referred that Zaya did not have a relationship with her father. So what did they do after that? Like, for the safety of not only the Zaya, I feel like some type of report or police report should have been made for the safety of any other child he may have came back and tried to talk to. Because they didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I would think that it would have at least been documented that an adult male was spotted, observed, interacting with the child in the schoolyard or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's clear that the school just
didn't follow proper protocol.
No, they weren't paying attention at all.
It's unbelievable the amount of callousness between these social institutions, CPS, the police department, and the CPS, the police department, and the school as well, to the point, callousness to the point of liability, as far as I can see. I don't think that, and I don't anticipate there being any type of lawsuits or anything like that filed, but they certainly, everybody, dropped the ball on this one. So
there's a lot of accountability. A lot of accountability. I mean, there's a lot of people that need to be held, from me listening to this, accountable. And to the point where cell phone messages on cell phone, who don't check a 13-year-old cell phone?
Messages on the school
who's
laptop.
paying for the cell phone?
Right.
Messages on the school laptop.
Yeah.
Did you look at her? Did you what? Because
I wouldn't put it past the they know. Somebody know that was around her. Whether it was one of the other children, but I really believe that the adults know. I grew up, I was a teenage girl. I was raised by my grandmother, and she kept the pad so she would know if I was coming to get them.
Absolutely.
And even if I came and got them, she said, let me see. She came in the bathroom to check me when I was 13, 14
I got two girls, and they're never without their personals, you know?
Right.
And not only that, but I pay too much attention to my daughters for them to walk
exactly.
around.
Do you touch your child? Do your child lay in a bed with you? Do you? Yeah. I remember at 13 climbing in the bed with my grandmother, laying on her, hugging on her always hugging on me, her coming in my room while I was undressed to see what I was putting on going to school that day. Because at that age, 13, you want to wear the belly shirts, and she wasn't having that. But she stayed on top of me. She knew what I was doing, like what I was wearing, and if she saw me wearing sweatshirts and stuff all the time, she would have. I was 20 years old when I got pregnant with my first child, and she was like, she figured it out because I didn't tell nobody until I was further along. And she figured it out. She was like, you pregnant. I was like,
listen, let me tell you something. We don't have to even go to pregnancy. How about when you start having sex?
Yep.
And they can look in your eyes and tell you
the way you walk, the way you smell, the way you act, everything.
Come on.
How about your neck turning black? Why?
Yes.
What's going on with you? Yep.
Listen, it's the generation, the people. I don't know what's going on with folks now.
But let's remember, Annette runs a tight ship. But all this was going on, and one of the babies was able to get taken off in the car to the store, and then nobody knows she was being taken.
Right.
And multiple children in the households being violated.
But she
for one thing, with child protective services in their defense, or even an adoption agency, my sister works in that field. And I know, and she's had in the past, Deborah, as you know, she had foster children. They're going to come out to your house, and you have to have bedrooms according to the amount of children that's in the household.
Yeah,
so
she had all that.
I heard
she
you
made
say
sure
it
she
might have been
got her
11 children.
Bedrooms. Yes,
oh, she made sure she dot her I's across her T's if it was affecting her check.
Bunk beds. Oh, that was so tight in that area.
Well, for 11 children, she would have had to have at least 7 bedrooms.
They weren't all in the house at the same time. Well, the one house they live in, I believe, was a 2-family flat. They all initially it was just Naziah, her brother, her other daughter, and her 2 children. And then she had like 1 foster child. Well, then that foster child went away, and then the 2 came. And then they went away for a while, because actually those 2 were supposed to be in respite care or something, because they were with another family, but something happened with the family and needed respite.
Temporary care, like on the weekend.
So she had them for a while, but then I guess the family, whatever they was going through, they couldn't no longer keep the children. So she ended up taking the children and keeping them permanently. And then the children went back to their parent, their abuser, and she abused them again. And then they brung them back to Annette. So she always made sure they was on top of her about that, like making sure it was enough bedrooms and the boys was separate from the girls and all this different stuff.
Yeah. Just come back with 2 out of those siblings. It was even another child, which was a baby. That was
their brother. Because the young lady, it's just a mess.
But his father got custody of his child.
Ended up getting custody of him because she was trying to adopt all 3 of them. Yeah. But yeah, she crossed her eyes and crossed her T's and dotted her eyes for all that type of stuff. But other than that, no.
When Kiwana was talking, I want to make sure that we say this publicly. There are other family members who cared about Naziah and are basically kind of behind the scenes that was trying to intervene in the situation. This was not a situation where this child was completely abandoned by her entire family. The people, maybe did not know what was going on for a time or whatever. Can you all briefly address that, just to let people know there was other people in the family that loved Naziah, was willing to take her in and all of that? Can we deal with that really quickly?
Like, willing to take her in. We would have to fast forward to 2020. Was that September or October 2020?
September.
It was September 2022 when her brother ran away.
Yeah, 22.
I contacted an attorney. We were trying to find out why first of all, we're trying to find him. We got threatened by the police, saying that we was harboring a minor. We was going to go to jail. But Kiwana and I had to devise the plan. I contacted an attorney. We was trying to get the boy to tell them what was going on. The attorney even told him, hey, all you got to do is say you're not safe and I can go and file for emergency guardianship. He refused to say that because he didn't want to go against his nana. So we were telling him, your nana is threatening to put us in jail. We had devised the plan. I was going to take the brother. She was going to take Naziah.
Girl, so did.
Because I have boys. So I was like, I'll bring him over here. He's familiar with my boys. Naziah was very close with Kiwana's girls. We had to devise a plan because those children wanted to go. He didn't want to tell on his nana because he was afraid that his sister would end up in foster care or her grandmother would retaliate against her or keep her from him if he was to tell.
Right.
Wow.
So we couldn't devise it. I tried to do it, but he didn't want to tell. And the lawyer advised me, he was like, it's nothing we can do about it. I mean, he said, you can make another report of the abuse, which I did with the police officer who contacted us, threatening us with harboring a minor. Mm-hmm. We told him what was going on and why he was afraid. They didn't investigate none of that. He said his job was to make sure the minor went back home.
Absolutely. And to add to that, not only did we, try to talk to the workers and get custody of the children, we made preparations. I did with it, which where I was living. I lived in a duplex apartment. Wasn't as much room enough. However, the manager was willing to, let me bring her there. She said, whatever you need to do for those children, we won't violate you. Don't worry about it. Do what you got to do. Because I explained the situation to her, and she told me, listen, whatever you need to do, just say the word, because that's a very serious situation. So yeah, we actually, I made preparations. I got the kids ready for this to happen. But as she said, it was, her brother, he was afraid that his sister will go into custody. And not just that, he was afraid of what would happen at home. I mean, they had already been out there multiple times, and you just never know in the mind of a child or someone that young.
He was actually experiencing what was going on. Because he did go back, and then he contacted Kiwana and said that he was punished after he went back and ended up leaving again, and pretty much never really went back. He's been there, but he has not lived there since he ran away those 2 times. He's basically been out here on his own.
Yeah, that
jumping from house to house.
Sure did. And once that situation occurred, that was actually the agreement amongst him and my auntie. You go wherever the hell you going. And we're gonna keep it like that. I'm not gonna let them know that you're not here. Because she was receiving funds, and so that's how that went. He was in the street, pillar to post, regularly. We were called because he needed help, cash apps, and so on. We would send them and do as much as we could, being mothers of our own children. My thing with him was, listen, I want to do this the right way. And if this is what I need you to do so that her or I, can do it the right way. Yep. We can get you in school, get the help you needed, get you in programs. We can't help you like we want to help you with you being in the street. Okay.
I pleaded with Shannon and her twin to maybe talk to, because he said something about he was afraid of juvenile. We were pleading basically just let us take the kids. They're not happy there. You obviously stressed out because you're snapping at them and stuff. Let us just take the kids, even if it's just temporary. Give you a break, maybe give them a new look on life or something like that. Because obviously they're not getting what they need from there. They rejected that offer. He didn't even respond to my offer, let's say that, but I took that as a rejection, as of no. Because if I was going to do it, the lawyer told me, don't just let her send him. We going to get temporary guardianship, because she might set you up, because she was threatening pretty much, if you harboring him, you going to jail and all this different stuff. He said we have to do it by the book because this is a very sensitive situation.
Oh, she was threatening me regularly. I mean,
they sent the police to Kiwana house.
Sure did. Had them circling around my place. Had them calling my son's phone. And then she had the nerve to call me and say, if you see him, you need to bring him home. I said, well, I tell you what, you need to be honest about the abuse that's going on inside the home. I said, you know what's going on. I said, you know exactly why he running away. Oh no, he just want to be grown. He want to run the streets. He want to smoke weed. Well, weren't you the one that passed him his first blunt? Weren't you the one that passed him his first breeze? He told me because I was his favorite older cousin.
Yeah.
So he would tell me things, you know, and he would expect for that to be between him and I. But let the truth be what it is. They were good with blaming the children and not taking accountability for themselves. Look, you passed them the weed.
They would blame the children and say that they was this, that, and the other based on things that they had been taught.
Right.
The things that they were mirroring. Everything like Naziah. A lot of people saying that she was fast. Those things that Naziah was doing, not only did Jarvis groom her at a very young age to do, but she witnessed it from the other women that were around her on a regular basis. She learned that behavior. She learned how to be manipulative. She learned, and then she was seeking attention because she wasn't getting attention at home. She wanted to feel something, and he was the only one who was paying attention to her.
And let me say this. She was absolutely looking for attention. You know what? And today, was it today or yesterday? I believe it was today. They said in those text messages, she was constantly asking, "Am I ugly? Do you think I'm pretty?" Well, let me tell you, she always felt ugly. She had very low self-esteem. And I was the one, you know, I would always say, "You are beautiful." That's how I gave her the nickname Pretty Eyes, because her nickname from her mom is Tuda. And then we also call her Zaza. However, I wanted to go the extra mile and make her feel pretty when I call her name. And so I gave her Pretty Eyes because she had some beautiful, gorgeous eyes.
She's a beautiful girl.
Yes, she was. Beautiful. But let me say this. They added to her low self-esteem. They were constantly saying things to her like, "You nappy-headed. You know, you got nappy hair." So she felt like it gave her a complex because all the other children have fine hair. And I would have to tell her, "Baby, you got black girl magic. You see my kinks? You see my hair? You better love yourself. You are beautiful, baby. Those are nines all through your coils." And I would have to try to make her feel good because they would tear her down by making her feel like she wasn't as pretty as the other kids. You know, you got nappy hair. You bony. These were the things that they were so bald headed self. That was something they said regularly. And to them it was jokingly, but to her it was damaging.
Oh, it sounds like some of that might have been purposely for some reason. I mean, being around children in the business for almost 30 years, it's something so dysfunctional that it's probably we would never understand because we're so far from this, removed from this situation. But I'm telling you, this sounds so intentional. The negative talk to her, we don't do that. Black women don't call our children, grandchildren, black, ugly, nappy-headed, none of that stuff. We build our children up. I don't care what they look like. They're in a black home. You are, for the most part, in a functional, in a healthy black environment. You're taught that you are beautiful, respect yourself, love yourself. Don't let anyone disrespect you. She was being torn down on purpose. Somebody that's and now my teacher and my parent side coming out. This is really a dysfunctional situation, and that's why Isaiah is where she is today. Until somebody start going into these homes and taking action, full actions. I admire you, Kawana, Janelle. I admire you guys for doing what you guys did. You did the best that you can do. But I guess now it's going to come to the point where we're going to have to start knocking on doors and saying, I believe, not to scandalize yourself, not to get yourself in trouble, but just keep knocking on the doors. Hey, why can't I come and see them? I want to see my nieces, my cousins, my nephews. I mean, we done had children put in freezers. We done had children put in dump yards, so-called dump yards. And now we have a child that God knows that we'll know where if her body ever be found, an impregnated child, young baby at 13 years old. We have got to put our foot down and go at it. Yeah. Because this is crazy. I have experienced lots of things at my early childhood development center. And guess what? If it don't look right to me, it's not right. And somebody has to make it right to me. I'm not going to buy blood coming down a child's leg because she must have sit on a tricycle and hurt herself. Oh, no. We're going to do some investigating. And then, let the doctor tell me that. Then I'm okay. So we have to start being, as the old people say back in the day, nosy.
That's right. Yeah. And let me say this, if I may. I want to add to that. A lot of times, people will turn a blind eye. They'll know that these things are going on. A lot of women are so desperate to be with a man, because this man is making them feel whatever they need to feel, that they will turn a blind eye. And I know a lot of people, and I'll come back later on and talk about that. But I know a lot of people that know of sexual abuse in the home or pedophiles personally, and they're afraid to turn them loose. It's called Stockholm syndrome, if we will. Yep. And they want, they'll still have these people around, like their family. They'll protect their name. I mean, I've had people, go back and forth for me about their family members, and because I'm telling, why are you protecting this person? I've lost relationships because I've stood on that. If you are going to protect this person, then you are, again, like someone else was saying, a part of the problem, because it's no way in the world I'm going to know that you a pedophile, whether you my uncle or whoever you are, and you going to come sit at my table and feast with me and my family. Come on, it's not going to happen.
Come on now. Yeah. Come on. All that I'm saying, what goes on in the home, stay in the home. You need to make a difference with that. Tell your daughter or tell your son what goes on in the home. Yes, stay in the home. But if it's unhealthy, if somebody's touching you inappropriately, if somebody is doing things to you to make you feel uncomfortable, those are the things you tell. But if you see mommy and daddy have an argument and we're in an uncomfortable position because daddy or mommy came home too late or whatever, that's something different, and we'll talk to you about it. But all that, what go on at home, stay at home, and somebody's upstairs having sex with a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old. No, we're not going to hide that as Black families, and we shouldn't. No family of no race should hide that. And I hope and I pray that this person gets the justice that he deserved, because he's been to prison for this once. A lesson was not taught. I see no reason for him to be out in society amongst our young children anymore. Anymore.
Yeah, because he went to prison in I think 2004, 2005. He came home like 2014, 2015. The first CPS case admitting abuse was in 2015. Again. So he came home doing it, and he came home interacting with Shannon.
I want to interject here, though, ladies, for a second, because you all said so much. It's oh wow, we were talking about how they were teasing her about her being nappy headed and all of that kind of thing, and I can get a visual of that, because Jarvis is light, bright, and almost white, as they used to say.
Good hair.
Biracial or something, I don't know what. And I'm sure that the children has taken on the fair skin and the fine hair.
Yeah, all the children in the hair, even the other children have even Shannon and her sister, they have a very good grade of hair. Desire hair was just more kinkier, and she was very
right. But I'm just imagining, just trying to get a visual of that environment that she was in. Right. And so but it brings me to this thought, and I want to know your thoughts on this, because I want to say this is nothing that has been said, insinuated. Do I want to do this? So what I was going to say is, and I've been looking at a lot of comments and all of that all week long. And one of the things that came up a couple of times was that Shannon was jealous. Shannon, the aunt, was jealous of Naziah, knowing that, the relationship between Naziah and I hate to call it a relationship, but for lack of a better word, the relationship between Naziah and Jarvis. Do you guys have any thought, any knowledge of that, if that's even true, or just any thoughts about, do you think that she would have been jealous of Naziah?
A lot of people have said that. A lot of people have said that. As you can see, Naziah was jealous of Shannon and the others, but would you be jealous if y'all both was pregnant at the same time?
Jesus.
Right.
Please, Lord.
My God.
Yep. And not only that, but you know, for her to go to the extent of knowing he's a pedophile, knowing multiple times, women have called her and told her their stories. And so, knowing this, if you will go the extra mile to stay with this man, imagine knowing that he's sleeping with your niece. Okay?
And she pregnant.
She loved him to death.
He didn't stop right there. It's a lot of demons in that house. It's a lot of stuff not coming out. I see a whole lot in my head. I'm not going to even bring it out, but it didn't stop there. It didn't stop. It's a mess.
Agreed. I agree with you, Lori.
There was a whole lot of mess going on in that house, and they can cover it up to hell freeze over. But it was a whole lot of mess. Everybody knew what everybody was doing, and some of them was doing it together. And I call no names.
I said, ooh.
But this is a mess. This is an insane mess. This is a little girl, 13 years old. And I don't want to say it's no fault of hers whatsoever.
Not at all.
She was put into this position. And I tell everybody that's listening out there, if you have a 13-year-old or 10, 11, 12, any age child, boy or girl, this man, from what I understand, he was messing with his own child.
Yes.
So don't just look at the aunts, the uncles, the cousins. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that we have to look at blood relatives now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like one lady said years ago, she said her child's father was sleeping with her child. That's not uncommon. We hear it a lot now.
No.
That's right.
She said, so now when I hear my new husband, which she's had for many years now, get up, I get up. Mm-hmm. When he get out the bed to go use the bathroom, I'm woke. I want to hear him come back and get in my bed. But see, I can't live like that. That's not trust.
Yeah.
That's not trust, but that's where we are now.
Janelle, you wanted to say something?
I'm just saying that's what what was some of the testimony was. One of the children in the household basically said he was messing with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the preliminary exam. Let's talk a little bit about you all's thoughts or what your takeaways have been, what stuck out to you during this week of trauma. I think everybody's traumatized behind listening to them phone records. I want to say something about the people calling Naziah, oh, she was fast, or somebody put in my comments today, the child was the aggressor per the text messages. I just blocked them.
Right.
I just blocked them. Because
Naziah was raped.
No sense for people to be, I mean, not only is it insensitive and inappropriate, that is pure stupidity. A child can't give consent for a reason. Neither can they be an aggressor. So listen, and I was really bothered and almost to the point of boiling today. Something that has been used and specifically when it comes to young Black girls. It perpetuates it in a negative stereotype, but beyond that, this is a way to be able to sexualize a Black girl child.
Yep.
Right.
And that's what happens in that household. There's been other girls in that, other girls under Annette when things would happen or said, she would say they being fast and this and that. When Naziah went missing and we did reach out to some of the family, oh, she just out trying to get some dick. She being fast. I'm like, how was you speaking about this child as your blood relative?
Right.
Shannon was texting people that. Other family members were saying the same thing. Well, where did she learn to go out and get it from?
Right.
She was grown. She was a child.
Yeah.
Because if Shannon told me the information in February of 2022, how long was it going on before that? And then there were other things that before that they probably didn't even tell me about that was going on.
Right. I'm sure it was. Me too.
So somebody tried to tell me Shannon telling me these types of things was a cry for help. Well, then why when I helped you, you called me an op and said I was trying to break up your family?
Same to me. Oh, I got some, like I said, I got some nasty voicemails.
Ooh, most recently, a recent voicemail.
Yeah, very recent.
All my children are by the same man.
Ooh,
girl, a pedophile.
Right.
Yes. Oh, she said a lot of nasty.
Proud of that.
Yeah. And that's multiple times. I said, you got the energy to get on my phone and disrespect me or say whatever lies or whatever you want to come with on my voicemail or my messages, but you don't have the energy to be concerned and put the same energy into what happened to Naziah as everybody else, and you her aunt. I'm trying to understand that.
Yeah. Overstand
it's not. I'm not even gonna say
I'm trying to overstand it. Yeah.
It's her brothers and sisters too. They got this thing about like they don't want to go against their mama.
Right. Well, I think that's pretty typical of kids. That's the thing. That's why they're children. I mean, they're easily manipulated. They're easily controlled.
No, these are the grown children.
Oh, okay.
These are you talking about grown children who know things and have seen things and noticed things and know what we've been going through for all this time and been telling them, and they are afraid to say anything because they don't want to go against the grandmother.
Right.
They don't want to go against her.
Yeah, somebody is making the comment, why was he ever allowed around the kids anyway? Was he not registered as a sex offender? We've talked about that already, but just a brief answer. He wasn't supposed to be around the children, hence the testimony that was made by particularly Annette, the grandmother. And I believe when Shannon testified this week, who is the aunt with the 5 children with Jarvis Butts. I believe she said it also that when they were questioning them about, him coming into the house or whatever, that's when they started talking about he comes out, he pulls up in the driveway and sits in his truck, and then Shannon goes out, and then if he want to see his kids, all his kids go out. Well, we've totally already debunked that lie because we know that he was coming to pick up those kids, taking them to the shop alone, and all of those types of things. But hold on a second, Janelle, because I want to give you all the floor. I want to talk about what all came out in the hearings this week, what your thoughts are, what your takeaways are, and then I want to ask if you'll give me permission to talk about what happened when they had to turn the cameras off yesterday. Wednesday, maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Tuesday. It was
Tuesday. Okay. I had to think about it. Tuesday.
Yeah. So let me know if you want to do that. But who wants to go first to talk about their thoughts of the hearings? And what has happened so far in the hearings.
The things that were heard, they affected me as her cousin. I'm sure that it affected a lot of people. Just hearing her, that she was in that state of mind, that she needed love so bad, or, just wanted to feel pretty or feel loved by someone, that she turned to him for it, you know. And hearing the testimony of my little cousin, you know, that was heartbreaking. But again, she was very brave. Um, and I'm proud of her for getting up there and telling it, and telling it like it needed to be told. As far as the judge go, she did not come to play. She read every thought that I had been thinking, and everything that I wanted to say, she said it. And so, you know, my hat's off to the judge, because she absolutely seen through everything. She seen through all the mess. Um, all of it, because it's a lot of mess, and she's seen straight through it. It's heartbreaking, you know. It's heartbreaking. Like I said, we knew of abuse, but not to this extent. Never to this extent.
Okay. Janelle.
Yeah, I was shocked about a lot of things that came out in court. Now I understand, like when we were working with and talking to the Detroit Public School Police, DPD people, you know, like we was in there like talking to them and stuff. Now I see why they told us, stand down. We got everything we need. We don't need you doing no searches. You can pass out some flyers, but we got everything we need.
Absolutely.
Because we gave them a lot of information, but we were like hounding them. And they was like, oh, just look, you gave us the information. We following it. Just stand down. Don't go out here in these houses looking. Don't go out here accusing people and knocking on doors and all that stuff. Just stand down. We got everything we need. We just need some time to put it together. It takes time to get subpoenas for text messages. It takes time to get subpoenas from the phone companies. It takes time to run DNA samples and stuff like that. It takes time.
Absolutely.
We knew they told us this before the 14th.
Sure did.
We got the information when it was transferred. We talked to Detroit Public School Police the Friday after Desire went missing, because we didn't find out until Thursday night. She went missing on a Tuesday. We found out on Facebook post on a Thursday night. We called Friday morning.
Sure did.
And told them everything that we knew and what could have possibly happened, because originally we thought she had ran away. But just to see all of it unfold was a little bit of a relief, because I've been preaching this for a long time and no one would listen. No one believed me. Or they would say, oh, the kids are not denying it. We're not seeing it. The family over there was saying, oh, she lying. She not telling the truth. I don't know why she would make that up about him. I don't know what she got against him and my mama, but she lying. Just my truth to come out.
Yeah.
Because they were lying from the beginning. I was pretty much told that a lot of the things that we told them that first couple weeks is what they would have never looked. Annette would have kept on saying she ran away. Absolutely. She would have never said that she was missing. As a matter of fact, Detective Gardner told me when the grandmother said she missing. I said, no, she lying. She ain't missing. That girl won't be gone for no 3 weeks and ain't contact nobody for no money, not on the social media. But just to see it all put together. And that judge, she saw through all the BS. She saw all the lies and the neglect that we've been trying to tell them was going on. She saw all of it. It's just unfortunate it took for Naziah to be the reason why all this shit came out, when we've been telling people for years. This ain't nothing that just happened in February. This been happening for years, and we've been going through it, arguing back and forth with Shannon, arguing back and forth with the different police people we came in contact with, calling CPS, trying to get the kids. So it's a little bit of a release. I can say that a little bit of the weight is off of my shoulders, but we still got a long way to go, because I want to know where her body is, and I believe they need to go ask Shannon. Absolutely. Because she know everything that he do. If out of all the women that he been with, she the one who keep up with him the most.
Let me, there was a question here and that the audience wants me to pose to you guys. Oh Lord, did I lose it that quickly? Will you ask the guests, what did they think? Oh, okay. The audience's member is asking, Glaw05 asks, what did you all think about Jarvis' sister's testimony? And I want both of you to answer.
Okay. Tijuana, thank you for doing the right thing. I know it was very difficult for you to have to do that. And I don't think it was because it was your brother. I think it was more so that you felt like, damn, I saw her. And if I had just took a little bit of extra step, maybe I could have prevented all this. But I really appreciate her testimony. I could tell that it was very difficult for her.
Yeah, she cried the whole, yeah.
Yeah, and I could tell that she was kind of silenced in a way too, where she couldn't really say what she wanted to say. But right. I don't know why that was, or what the prosecutor.
They probably want her to save some of that information for trial.
For trial or something like that. But I really appreciate that she do that. Jarvis's family had already reached out to me when he was charged because I am actually a good friend with one of his cousins. And she reached out to me and told me that they was behind us 100% and they supported us and they didn't want no association with him and they were supporting us. And I just really appreciate that. Right. She said it, like it could have been, it was a difficult situation. Like, dang, that's my friend, but this is my cousin. She hadn't really said much to me. But when she came, she explained herself and told me that Jarvis' sister was had made some reports to the police and she couldn't talk about a lot of them. I listened to her or whatever, but it was greatly appreciated. I just, like I've been telling people for the longest, it's not only is Naziah's family hurting, but his family is hurting because that's got to be devastating to find out your family member, your son, your brother, his other children, to find out your father can do something like this. So,
okay, Kiwana.
I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let her. I think she did a very good job. I appreciate her testimony. I have a few mixed feelings, but I do respect that she got up there and she expressed what she needed to and spoke against her brother. We needed her to do that and she did that. So I absolutely appreciate that.
Right.
And so I'm gonna just leave it there for now.
Okay. All right. I wanted to, I definitely wanted to ask about that. So I'm going to ask again. There was a situation in the courtroom the other day. Can we talk about that or briefly?
Briefly, because it wasn't us who did it. So, but no. Are you talking about the child's testimony or?
Yeah, at that time, what happened?
Yeah, there's an article about that.
Okay, great. If we can talk about that.
Newspaper articles out about basically what the child has said.
But we don't. But I don't mean talk about the child's testimony as opposed to
what happened after
an altercation.
Yeah. The altercation that happened after the child testified.
Wait, let me stop you one more time, Janelle.
Okay.
Because I want to preface this. I want to make sure I preface this with the audience so they know what's going on. Those of you that were live streaming with us or any other wherever else all week long know that, we would have to wait sometimes for the court cameras to come on. And on Tuesday, was it Tuesday?
I think it was Tuesday. It was the second day, the third day.
There, from our end, those of us who work directly in the courtroom, we're waiting on the cameras to come on. They had taken a lunch break, so we came back and waited on them. So we waited or whatever. And then finally, after their lunch break, they turned the cameras back on. Well, when they did, Judge Sabri, which is her name,
in her chamber,
Sabri, said, we have I think it's called a something 5 testimony. But whatever the legal term is, it's indicative of a child testimony. So she asked everybody to turn their cameras off. So we, of course, they shut us down, and I guess whoever was there recording had to turn off. So when we came back from that, finally, because someone in the comments said, how long is this going to take? And I said, this is really strange, because with children, they don't try to keep children on the stand too long because it's traumatic for them. And then you got to think about a child sitting there looking at the defendant, especially if they're testifying against them and all of that. I said, so I don't understand what's taking so long, because they don't usually keep children on the stand this long. And then finally, the cameras came back on. I said, oh, here we go. And okay, do a few seconds go by, and bloop, just abruptly goes off again. So I want you to start from there.
The information was actually given to Kiwana. I don't know if you want to tell what actually happened, Kiwana, or you want me to tell it.
I'll tell it. Upon her testimony, her father was upset, like any father would be. And him listening to his daughter, say the things that she said, and not just the fact that he did the things that he did to Nasiah and to another family member, but he tried to do it to his daughter. He was vivid. He was upset, and they had to escort him out of the courtroom because he did exactly what any parent would do.
He did exactly what somebody should have did a long time ago. And I commend him from that. Me and him have not always saw eye to eye, but I commend him from that. Because that was real, I
don't think that the audience knows what happened, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Basically, he tried to get him. He tried to get Jarvis, and they had to send them in there to get him away from Jarvis. Jarvis and his attorneys had to go back in that little holding room with Jarvis. The judge went in her chambers. Everybody was crying. Yeah. People had to duck and dodge because he was about to handle the business, and he said he basically didn't care about what was going on.
Yeah, he didn't. He do not play about his daughter.
No,
but I can tell you guys, in watching the live stream today, Jarvis Butts was limping and had bruises.
Oh, he been limping. Not like that. Limping, but he did have those bruises. Somebody clapped him up every time he go to court. Since that arraignment, he get knocked up a little bit.
That's what I said too. Yeah, he.
That's why he
was a little beat up the other day. He was pulling that mask up higher and higher. If it go any higher, it's gonna be on his forehead.